Let's take a look at some of the RPA Developer features that were brought in the 21.4 version of the UiPath platform. To do this, I have created an automation that will open this specific application. It's a list of suppliers. It will search for a specific supplier by name, and then it will retrieve its number of employees. So it's like a function call. In Studio, I have the automation opened here, and I'm going to go and run it just to see how this behaves. The first thing that it will do is that it will go and start filtering for a specific supplier, in our case HR expert, edit the supplier, and then get the number of employees. Looking at the output panel, you can see here a line that says HR expert has 100 employees, which is what it returned. But also, as we look here, you can see some new capabilities as well. For example, this workflow is going to invoke a couple of other workflows. And in here, I can see a line that says that I'm invoking a specific workflow with a specific set of arguments. We are now automatically logging the workflows that you're invoking in your automation together with their properties, if that's what you want. So there's a new log entry here, and you can say, I want to log yes, no, or yes, but and with arguments. Now let's take a look at some other capabilities of this release. You've probably seen that as different values were selected in this business application, the mouse would move instantly from one point to the next. Some business applications don't like that, and they want the mouse to move smoothly, as if a user would move them. So let's see how I would go about that. For example, I take this click activity, and there's a new option here in the properties panel called cursor motion type. And I can say I want this to be smooth. And I can do this for all the other activities in my flow as well. Now, if we run the same automation again, you will see how the mouse will move smoothly across the items that it will click, just like a human would. Another capability we've added is the ability to verify certain UI automation actions that the robot is going to take. For example, whenever I want to type into this particular field, okay, this is where I'm typing the name of the supplier, I can now do what we add an auto verification. What this will do is basically automatically get the text of that specific UI element and verify that the value that we want to type is actually being typed there. The same thing I can do with other type of UI automation activities, like clicks, for example. In this case, let's say I want to make sure that when I click the this edit button here, the edit window will open automatically, which is this window here. So for this, I will add again a verification, and in this case, I will indicate what element I want to verify. And let's say I want to make sure that the title of our window is going to show up. And now that element is being verified. We make sure that the UI element is actually showing up there. Now let's publish our project. As I hit the publish button, you will see that there's an error message that tells us that the project has workflow analyzer rule errors. And if we look at these errors, you will see here things like I have a couple of variables that are not being used. And also I'm using some dependent packages that I should not be using. For example, mail and Excel, because they're not used in our automation. To fix these problems, I will go here under this new remove unused panel, and I will say I want to remove all the unused dependencies, for example. Now it will analyze the project, see that mail and Excel are a couple of packages that are not used, and now it will remove those. I will now do the same to remove the unused variables. And I can see here a couple of variables that I had defined but that were not used in my automation. And I can remove unused workflow files as well. And you see here that I have a workflow file, sequence.xaml, that is actually not being used in our automation. So with that, this is a quick view of what UiPath Studio 21.4 has to offer for RPA developers.